Adam hated me, but he still had to marry me. At the party, he mocked me in front of everyone, just a useless beta. Later, he was triggered into an early rut. He shoved away the crowd of Omegas trying to get close and ran straight into my room, tail practically wagging, eyes full of desperation. Babe, help me. 1. Adam, 26 years old. After being discharged from the Alliance military due to injuries, he took over the family business. Young, successful, rich, and ridiculously handsome. He'd been at the top of the local most eligible alpha list for years, but only those close to him knew. He was a terminal case of straight A syndrome, arrogant, obnoxious, and deeply prejudiced. He looked down on every beta equally. His biggest dream was to marry a soft, sweet Omega, preferably one whose pheromones smelled like vanilla cream. Unfortunately for him, I ruined that fantasy. The old man, his grandfather, was on his deathbed, clinging to life, and no one dared upset him. Not even Adam, that rabid mutt, not even me. Damn it, how was I supposed to know I'd end up involved just because I tagged along with my mentor on his rounds? After days of stalemate, Adam stormed into my office, face like thunder, and threw a document on my desk. Marriage contract. Once the old man passes, we annul it. I had no objections. I signed my name without hesitation. Maybe I was too decisive. A flash of surprise passed through Adam's eyes, quickly replaced by disgust. So eager to marry me? Before I could reply, he sneered and looked me up and down. There are plenty of people who'd kill to sleep with me. You don't even make the list. I didn't bother responding. I'd known for a long time the guy had a few screws loose. Instead, I pointed at the contract clause. Your grandfather gave me 30% of the shares, plus joint marital assets. If we divorce, the split is 70/30ths, I get 70. Adam went silent. Adam cracked. Adam stormed out. I sat where I was, laughing out loud. His retreat was so embarrassingly pathetic. Still smiling, I shook my head, put the contract away, and went back to the medical records Adam had interrupted. Halfway through, I remembered the look of pure shock in his eyes earlier, couldn't help but laugh again. Then I looked up. The guy I was mocking was standing right there in the doorway. I tried my best to suppress my smile, completely unaware that my eyes had softened without me noticing. What else do you want? Adam looked startled for a second, then he shot me a deadly glare, marched over, and snatched the contract out of my hands. 2 copies, this one's mine. And with that, he left. I went back to work, too. By the time I got off work, it was nearly midnight. The nurse on night shift yawned as she waved goodbye. A cold wind howled through the streets. I rubbed my hands together, blew warm breath onto them, and stepped into the snow. Just as I took my first step, a black sedan pulled up in front of me. The window rolled down, revealing Adam's sharp side profile. Get in. I hesitated, confused. No need. I live nearby, just a couple of blocks. Adam clicked his tongue in annoyance, his brows furrowing. So we're married, but not living together? What? Hoping the old man dies faster. I mean, he had a point, but I need to go home and grab some stuff. I said, like my laptop and books. Not to mention I needed to cancel my lease. Thinking about it made me sigh. I'd signed that marriage contract on impulse, not wanting to upset the patient, but now that I'd calmed down, I realized there were a million things I needed to sort out. I turned to Adam, trying to reassure him. I'll move in tomorrow. Let me just get things in order tonight. Then I changed direction and started walking. Behind me, I heard the sound of a car door slamming in frustration. Adam caught up quickly, grabbing my arm hard enough to hurt. I couldn't help but let out a pained hiss. He froze, then let go and looked away, muttering, "Didn't even pull that hard. Why are you more delicate than a damn Omega?" He paused for a second, then snorted, "Figures, betas are the most useless." I took a slow breath, lifted my head and smiled at him. Him. Adam went momentarily speechless, chest rising and falling. Then he grabbed my wrist again and dragged me toward the car. My boots crunched on the fresh layer of snow. He said, "I already had your place packed up. Everything's been moved over. All that's left is for you to show up." 3. I frowned instinctively. There were a lot of private things at my place. Having strangers rummage through them made me uncomfortable. No matter how I spun it, I was about to say breaking into someone's home was illegal, but then I remembered this guy wasn't exactly a model citizen. Pointless to argue. I swallowed it. Still, I wasn't in the best mood. Leaning against the window, I racked my brain trying to remember if I'd left anything important behind. Adam drove in silence, occasionally glancing at me. "What are you thinking about?" I replied flatly, "Nothing," as if he'd understand anyway. Adam scowled. "Just so we're clear, This may be a contract marriage, but it's legally binding. Don't even think about seeing someone else. I shut my eyes, hands clasped tightly in my lap. What a damn idiot. I cursed him out 10 different ways in my head before saying, got it, Adam, clearly not done. Added, I'll stick to it too. Him. The car rolled through the quiet night, eventually stopping at Adam's downtown villa. It was almost 2 a.m. I started to worry again. Might have to wake up half an hour earlier now to make it to work on time. Sigh. I followed Adam mindlessly into the house, until I smacked nose first into something solid. He turned back, eyebrows raised smugly. Can't wait to share a bed with me already? I'm not. I didn't. He chuckled lowly, clearly not buying it. Even if you were, it's not gonna happen. Dream on. I pulled myself together and looked around. It was clearly a bedroom, except for the one crude wooden door that looked wildly out of place. Adam turned my shoulders to face it. This is your room. A bedroom inside a bedroom? Confused, I pushed the door open, and froze, then laughed out of sheer disbelief. He'd knocked down the wall between the rooms and stuck a wooden door there, probably did it himself with a hammer, then moved my entire apartment here exactly as it was. Every piece of furniture, every arrangement, even the pile of crumpled paper in the trash can. Fortunately, his house was big enough to fit my entire tiny rental inside. Thanks to him, I finally got to experience what it's like living in a studio-turned 3-bedroom DIY makeover after graduating. 4. The next morning, I woke up in my room on the narrow single bed, walked through my living room, and went to wash up. When I pushed open the wooden door again, I ran straight into Adam, fresh from his morning workout, middle of winter, and the guy was only wearing a tight black tank top. His lean muscles were fully on display. Sweat trickled down from his hair, disappearing into the white towel slung around his neck. Adam glanced at his fitness tracker and frowned. It's only 6:30. This place is far from the hospital. I don't want to be late, I said. He clicked his tongue in disapproval and brushed past me into his own room. Oh, he'd added a folding screen in front of the wooden door, blocking most of the view into his space. We may have shared the same entrance, but we each had our own privacy, surprisingly well managed. Actually, after that little episode, I went back to checking the map for the nearest bus stop. A few minutes later, I was standing at the front door, holding my phone, spinning in circles trying to match the map's directions to real-world ones. You practicing to be one of those ballerina music box princesses or what? Adam's voice made me jump. I turned and saw him leaning against the doorway, arms crossed, already fully dressed. Who knows how long he'd been watching. He tossed something my way. I caught it just in time. It was a car key, a really expensive one, too. If I drove that to work, people would definitely assume I was milking him for money. Drive yourself. I don't keep a chauffeur here. I scratched my head, embarrassed. I don't know how to drive. Adam froze mid-step. You don't know how to drive? Never found the time to learn. He took a deep breath, snatched the key out of my hand, and grumbled, come on. He stormed off toward the garage, muttering under his breath. The old man really set me up. Where the hell did he dig up this little princess who can't even drive? Betas are all useless. I swear, I heard every word, didn't say a thing. You take someone's ride, you don't complain. Thanks to him, I got to the hospital an hour early and even had time to enjoy breakfast. 5. Busy days always pass quickly. When I finally looked up from my computer, it was nearly lunchtime. At this hour, the cafeteria wouldn't have anything good left. I sighed and grabbed a random piece of bread from the drawer to make do. Someone knocked on the office door. Come in. It was the new Omega nurse. Her cheeks were flushed pink, and she was holding a light blue lunchbox in both hands. Blake, I noticed you didn't have lunch. I made a little too much today. If you don't mind. I knew what she meant halfway through her sentence. Before I could say no, someone barged in and shoved her aside without hesitation. She staggered back a few steps. I jumped up to help her, but the person who had entered blocked my way. Adam, and he even closed the door behind him. Who's she? What's she doing here? Just a nurse. Adam looked displeased. Blake, I expect you to keep your promise. He was referring to that little agreement in the car yesterday, about keeping things clean despite the contract marriage. I sighed and nodded again. Yeah. What are you doing here? I asked. The old man's awake. He wants to see you. His grandfather's attending physician was my mentor. Ever since Adam and I got married, the old man's health had noticeably improved. My mentor had been subtly hinting that I should cooperate for the sake of his treatment, so I played along, just acting. I sighed. All right, let's go. The moment the old man saw Adam and me together, he was grinning from ear to ear. Well then, let's pick a date for the wedding. Adam and I had a silent agreement to keep our relationship private. Holding a wedding would mean going public. I didn't want that. Adam definitely didn't. He couldn't stand being associated with a beta. After some back and forth, we reached a compromise. No wedding, just a small family dinner. My mouth was dry from all the talking, and I was starving. By the time I got back to my office, I was completely drained. I searched for that sad little piece of bread again. Lunch break was almost over. I had to hurry, but not long after, Adam came storming in again and tossed me a fancy bento box. Eat, it's from the old man's personal chef. Can't have people saying I can't afford to feed my wife. The word wife slipped out so casually, like a feather brushing across my chest. Ticklish. 6. Soon, the day of the family dinner arrived. They said it was just close friends and relatives, but there were way more guests than I expected. Adam and I did the necessary greetings, then split off to do our own thing. I was happy to be left alone. Found a quiet corner to mess around on my phone, but then I overheard my name from somewhere nearby. Someone was asking Adam what I was like. His voice came muffled through a curtain. Adam scoffed. Just a useless beta. Not soft like an Omega. Not sweet either. Can't even drive. TCH. Way to ruin a rare day off. If he liked Omegas so much, why didn't he just marry one? I rolled my eyes and decided to find a quieter spot, but the moment I stood up, my leg went numb. My balance gave out. I instinctively grabbed the curtain in front of me, but it wasn't as sturdy as I thought. Rip! The fabric tore, followed by my suppressed yelp and the shattering of glass. I fell flat on my back in the middle of the room. The entire crowd turned at the noise. Adam's face darkened on the spot. Well, great, there went my dignity. Wine had spilled all over my specially tailored white shirt. It clung to my skin, outlining the shape of my body underneath. The cold hit me, and I shivered. All the curious and mocking stares pinned me to the ground like nails. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Adam striding toward me. Just a few seconds, but it felt longer than a lifetime. I gave up and lowered my head, didn't even bother looking at him. 7. The next second, a pair of dress shoes stepped into view. Something warm and heavy settled on my shoulders. Adam's suit jacket. One arm went around my shoulder, the other slid under my knees. The world tilted. My breath caught. I instinctively wrapped my arms around his neck. You can't even stay on your feet. Ha! Adam calmly diffused the scene, his voice steady, unfazed. The crowd's attitude flipped instantly. All the flattery and fake kindness came rushing back. You two are so close. I tuned it all out, buried my face deeper into Adam's chest. He paused for a moment, then walked on as if nothing happened. The noise around us gradually faded. I poked him. Everyone's gone. You can put me down now. Gotta commit to the act, he said, holding me tighter. His body was warm where it touched mine, so he did have his considerate moments. I was just starting to feel moved, when he muttered under his breath, seriously, how do you manage to fall like that at your age? Impressive. Any trace of being touched evaporated. Yeah, well, I am just a useless beta, right? Didn't deny it. This guy, getting caught badmouthing me and still unfazed. I glared up at him, only to be met with a pair of laughing eyes. I froze. My heart skipped 2 full beats. I clutched my chest and quickly looked away. 8. The hotel had arranged a lounge upstairs, and Adam carried me there. I held back for a while but eventually gave in and pushed lightly against him. Adam, your belt's digging into me. You should go change. The slight softness that had returned to his face immediately vanished. He ground his teeth. Got it, just behave. I didn't understand what that was about. The moment we got into the room, he let go of me, wrapped in his jacket. I curled up in one corner of the couch. Adam didn't sit. He stood by the window with his back to me, making a call. Send over 2 sets of clothes. No white shirts. I instinctively looked down. Right, this soaked white shirt was practically see-through. The shame hit me belatedly. I tugged Adam's coat more tightly around myself. Adam turned his head just then and caught the movement. His eyes darkened slightly. His Adam's apple bobbed. But then he opened his mouth, and the mockery was back. You're not an Omega. Who's looking at you? So if I were an Omega, you would be looking. I pouted and pulled the coat even tighter, still looking sideways. Adam smirked. Careful, you sound jealous. I blinked, and damn it, there was a bit of sourness there. God help me, that's not what I meant. Adam let out a dramatic sigh and turned away. Falling for me already? Betas really do lack self-control. My cheeks burned red. I scoffed. Don't flatter yourself. After that brief back and forth, the clothes arrived. Adam stripped off his dirty shirt in a few swift moves. The long scar that ran from his left shoulder to his waist stood out starkly, along with a mess of old wounds and minor injuries. Clearly, this guy had seen real combat during his military days. I turned away and rubbed the back of my neck awkwardly. The dormant gland there had started to sting faintly. After changing, Adam noticed my hesitance and snorted, "Fine, I'll step out. No one's watching. Go ahead and change, princess." I sighed softly. Forget it. Why hold on to memories no one else remembers? 9. After the family dinner, Adam started acting much friendlier toward me. Not that he even realized it himself. I was totally thrown off. All I wanted was to keep our relationship at arm's length, just until his grandfather stabilized, and then part ways peacefully, but he wouldn't give me the space. To help with his grandfather's recovery, we kept up appearances in front of him. At first, it was just verbal, then it escalated, holding hands now and then, and sometimes he'd even kiss my cheek in front of the old man. I wanted to crawl under the floor from the embarrassment. Adam and his grandfather, meanwhile, were both having a great time, and things weren't much different back home. Believe it or not, Adam actually started cooking for me. It was after a night shift. I came home to find him pacing in the living room. Even after leaving the army, he kept his early morning workout routine. I honestly admired that. I couldn't relate. All I wanted was to collapse into bed. I greeted him and tried to slip away, but he grabbed my wrist and pulled me back. "Just gonna sleep?" "No kidding." I was barely holding it together. Adam mumbled something and still refused to let go. "I'll make you some breakfast. At least eat a little before you crash." The warm wonton noodles in my stomach finally made it all feel real. To say I wasn't touched would be a lie. Who doesn't dream of coming home after work to a warm husband waiting? Wait, no. Snap out of it, Blake. This was just one of those straight alpha tricks. Adam hated betas. Remember, he had that cream-scented little Omega waiting for him. I kept chanting that to myself while stuffing wontons into my mouth. Things like this kept happening. I was on the verge of a full-on identity crisis. Part of me wanted to grab Adam and shake some sense into him. Betas and alphas aren't the same. But I was also terrified he'd tell me I was being delusional. I sighed and went back to sorting medical charts. Just before the end of my shift, I got a message. An old senior from med school was back in town and wanted to catch up over dinner. I thought it over. I didn't have anything planned tonight, so I said yes. 10. He chose the restaurant. It had been a while, so we had plenty to talk about. I relaxed a little, after spending all week dodging Adam. I was exhausted. Mid-conversation, my senior smiled and said, "I heard you got married recently. How's that going?" What timing? I was just getting annoyed again. I brushed it off with a laugh. Then I saw a familiar figure walk in at the entrance. Of course, the very source of all my current frustration. My heart skipped. Why did I have to run into him even here? I was just about to excuse myself and leave before Adam noticed me, but before I could even open my mouth, his gaze swept across the room, landed on me, and froze. Then he changed direction and walked right over. I couldn't move. Adam approached and stood beside me, like he was staking a claim. "Who are you?" he asked flatly. My senior glanced between the two of us, then extended a polite hand. "I'm Dar, Blake's senior from university." Adam didn't respond. He looked down at the offered hand but didn't take it. The air between them went cold. Sensing the tension, I quickly reached out to ease the awkwardness, but just as my fingertips brushed my senior's sleeve, Adam grabbed my hand and pulled it down. Then he did shake hands, but it looked all kinds of wrong. Other diners started staring, even though I couldn't smell pheromones. It was obvious from the crowd's reactions, these two alphas were locking horns. I let out an awkward laugh and tugged Adam's free hand. "Senior, I've got something to take care of. Let's catch up next time." And with that, I dragged Adam away. 11. What was supposed to be a simple dinner turned into a mess. I was annoyed, but apparently Adam was even more pissed off than I was. "You're not allowed to have dinner with him again." "Why not?" He stiffened. No. I let out a laugh, folding my arms. "Adam, don't you think you're overstepping? This is a contract marriage. I don't need your permission to have dinner with someone." He lifted his eyes to look at me, sharp gaze sweeping across my face. "I'm overstepping. Blake, do I need to remind you of our agreement? It was just a meal. There's nothing between us. Or what? Are you so obsessed with me now that every man looks like a threat?" The words flew out of my mouth before I could stop them. Adam raked a hand through his hair, disbelief all over his face. "I'm obsessed with you. Get real." "Exactly. So why do you care who I eat with?" "I just don't want you to." "To what?" "What? Did he think I was some flirt who threw myself at anyone with a pulse? Was that how he saw me?" I was so angry, it nearly blanked out my mind. "Adam, You're an alpha. Worry about yourself instead. We fought. It ended badly. He drove off. I stood there in the street and took a long, deep breath. Those peaceful, domestic days from before really did feel like a dream now. And that dream had finally come to an end. 12. The next day, I went to do some routine checks on Grandpa as usual. The old man, wise from living longer than us, immediately noticed something was off. Dr. Blake, did you have a fight with Adam? I paused while putting away the equipment, pretending nothing was wrong. No, nothing like that. Adam's just been busy these past couple days. Hasn't come by. Grandpa stroked his non-existent beard. Don't lie to this old man. I know that kid's temper, mouth always running. Dr. Blake, you gotta put up with him. His words made me laugh. Well, if you laugh, that's good. If you're free at noon, come eat with me. I agreed, then noticed the hospital room door was wide open. Looking up, I saw the very troublemaker himself. He stared at me like he hadn't blinked in a while, fingers clutching the door handle tighter and tighter. I withdrew my smile, packed up my tools, and gave him a cold glance. Move aside. He shifted a bit, and I strode past him. Wait, get your ass in here, brat. Adam clicked his tongue irritably. What now, old man? I took the chance to leave quickly. By the time I finished work at noon, I was already running late. I wanted to keep my promise to Grandpa, so after ditching my white coat, I headed over, but I bumped right into Adam at the door. I covered my forehead and stepped back 2 steps. Looking up, the flash of panic in Adam's eyes was gone before I could be sure. Rubbing my eyes, I realized it was just my imagination. Sure enough, when I looked again, his expression was mocking. Throwing yourself at me? Get lost. I brushed past him, but he caught my arm. Where are you going? Adam asked awkwardly. To have lunch with Grandpa. He finished eating a while ago and is already taking a nap. I glanced at my watch. It was indeed getting late, but what did that have to do with Adam? I tried to pull my arm free but he held on tighter. A warm lunchbox was shoved into my chest. Eat this. The old man specially asked for it to be saved for you. I was mad at Adam, but not enough to reject the food. As I tried to leave, he blocked my way again. Anything else? Adam scratched his head and avoided eye contact. I won't be here this afternoon. If you have time, check on the old man more. Got it. 13. In the afternoon, after wrapping up my work, I went to see Grandpa. He was bored and watching TV. Dr. Blake is here. I nodded and sat by his bedside, peeling an apple. Has that kid apologized to you yet? My hands stopped mid-peel, unsure how to answer. Grandpa sighed deeply. After you left, he was restless all morning. At lunch, he almost stabbed himself in the nose with his chopsticks. I chuckled. I guessed Grandpa was just trying to cheer me up. Adam wouldn't really be that shaken up over me. I stuck a piece of apple on a toothpick and handed it to him. Grandpa took a bite and went on teasing his grandson. And then, after waiting forever for you, he made up excuses to send you food. Suddenly, I remembered Adam's strange attitude at noon. Maybe he was trying to make peace after all. No way. Grandpa glanced at me and his tone shifted abruptly. Dr. Blake, does your gland still hurt? I instinctively touched my neck, eyes wide with surprise. How did you know? Well, it's my grandson after all. When he got hurt back then, someone told me about it. Makes sense. Grandpa was talking about when Adam was still in the military. 14. Before going to the front lines, Adam was betrayed by a beta undercover agent. If he'd taken one step further, the laser sweep would have cut him in half. At that time, I was an intern doctor in the army. When manpower was short, I was sent to support the front. The first patient I encountered was a seriously wounded Adam. He was unconscious. While I was dressing his wounds, he bit down hard on my atrophied gland at the back of my neck. The rush of pheromones injected through my skin burned and then faded instantly. I couldn't smell anything, nor could I comfort him. He kept biting, until my neck was raw and ulcerated. And still, he accused me of taking advantage of him. I thought, the laser didn't hit his brain. How could he be so messed up? After finishing the bandaging as best I could, I almost fainted. Summoning my last bit of reason, I told the lead mentor to keep it a secret. In public, no one wants others to know they were bitten on the neck by a stranger alpha. When Adam woke up, he forgot everything about the injury. The mentor felt sorry for me and transferred me out of the army. Our next meeting was at the hospital. Grandpa sighed deeply. That was Adam's fault, but I can see you two aren't completely without feelings. At least he cares about you. Do this old man a favor, will you? Adam cares about me? Yeah, right. Everyone knows he hates betas. 15. Grandpa's words echoed in my mind until I clocked out. I stood in front of the club where Grandpa said Adam was drowning his sorrows. I hesitated. Forget it, I was already here. Someone led me inside. Soon, I stood in front of a private room, took a deep breath, and gently pushed the door open. The pungent smell of smoke and alcohol hit my nose. I frowned, spotting Adam inside, clearly drunk and drinking heavily. I was about to go in when I heard him say, "Omegas are still better." What an idiot. I slammed the door shut behind me, throat tight and vision blurred with tears. The people inside were startled. "Adam, that looked like your wife just now." Adam's glazed eyes suddenly cleared. "Fuck." I heard footsteps pounding behind me and hurried away, but I couldn't outrun him. Panting, Adam blocked my path. Seeing my red eyes, he froze. "You're crying." When I didn't respond, he bent down and peered at me, eyes shining. "Really crying?" I turned my head away and wiped the corners of my eyes. "What's it to you?" I tried to go past him to draft the divorce papers. He grabbed my arm and yanked me into the car. "Why are you crying? What's wrong? Did the old man upset you?" I laughed bitterly. I kicked him hard. "If you're crazy, go see a doctor. You are a doctor, right? Then treat me." His shamelessness stunned me into silence. I just turned my head to the window and ignored him. There was silence in the car for a while. The designated driver hadn't arrived yet. Adam's muttering silhouette was reflected in the window. I couldn't catch what he was saying. In my head, I quietly drafted the divorce agreement, figuring out how to leave without worrying Grandpa. Suddenly, someone leaned in. The face in the window grew larger. I looked back to meet Adam's eyes, inches away, his trembling lashes and the tension in his brown eyes, the flushed ears showing how embarrassed he was. I forced myself to stay calm, but my heart betrayed me with a violent thump. Adam's thin lips parted. He said, "Blake, do you like me?" My mind buzzed. My pupils constricted. My heart pounded so hard it felt like it would burst out of my chest. He repeated, firm this time, "Blake, you like me." 16. After a while, I finally found my voice. "No way." Adam counted on his fingers like reciting a list. "Last time you got jealous. This time you just straight up cried. Why do you always hear me say these things? Then why do you always say them where I can hear?" "I only said those things twice, but it's still you who said them." "No, wait." I pressed my palm to my forehead, almost getting tangled in his logic. I was thinking about divorce, so why was this suddenly turning into a talk about whether I liked him or not? Trying to be serious, I wanted to talk properly to Adam, but when I looked at him, I caught his intense gaze. He stressed again, "You like me." I looked at his faintly flushed cheeks and those secret, hopeful eyes. Grandpa's words flashed in my mind again. Suddenly, I made a bold guess. "Why are you so happy about that? A magical duel? I could play too." "Let me think. Last time you got jealous over dinner with Senior. Today at lunch you wanted to break the ice with me." "What? Secretly crushing on me?" Adam froze. "So did I. I was just joking." But judging by his reaction, it sounded like the truth. My heartbeat, which had just settled, went haywire again at the worst time. The closed car suddenly felt warmer. The driver tapped on the window, breaking the strange tension. The door opened, cold air rushed in, breaking up the heavy mood inside the car. We drove home in the chill. As soon as we got in, Adam switched back to his usual cocky self. "Blake, that teasing act doesn't work on me." I hummed twice. "You're right." Then I went straight to my room. I desperately needed some peace and quiet to be alone for a while. "Calm down, Blake. Adam really hates betas." 17. The next day, as soon as we appeared at Grandpa's bedside, he immediately assumed we had made up. "No way." Adam and I exchanged a glance, then both turned our heads away, pretending we had nothing to do with each other. Leaving the ward, he casually said, "There was an Omega downstairs asking for my contact info just now." "Oh." Adam shot me a glance. "You're not jealous?" "Nope. I'm an adult. Why would I get jealous over something so trivial?" Adam's confident mask started to crack a little. "The other person was an Omega." "I know. I gave it to him." "Okay. You really aren't jealous?" The elevator doors opened. I walked in calmly and pressed the close button. "No." Adam got flustered. Just before the door shut, he reached out and pressed against it. The doors slowly closed. I covered a smile at my lips. His flustered look was exactly the same as the day we signed the marriage contract. I really wasn't jealous. That Omega downstairs had a mental illness. He went up to anyone and asked for contact info. Most people in the ward knew, but probably only Adam would actually give it to him. 18. I was working a night shift today. When the ER was quiet, the atmosphere was fairly relaxed. Nurses stopped by now and then, bringing snacks for the night shift. With food in hand, they'd gossip a bit. "Dr. Blake, how's married life?" I smiled faintly. avoiding a direct answer, mostly because things with Adam had been strange lately. The nurse sighed deeply. As soon as you got married, a lot of Omegas here were heartbroken. There was that new one recently. Your husband kicked him away so hard. He came back crying. That one I didn't know about. I thought carefully about how to ask, wanting to be considerate. What happened? Is he okay now? My words were cut off abruptly. Hey, what are you two chatting about so happily? Adam was leaning against the doorframe, a faint trace of anger in his brow. The nurses scattered quickly. I sighed helplessly. What are you doing here? Adam sat down heavily on a nearby stool. If I didn't come, I wouldn't even know my wife was chatting away with someone else. Who's your wife? You are. His eyes said more than words ever could. My face heated up. Not even my usual mental hypnosis could control my expression. I forced myself to keep calm and pushed him away. You're interfering with my work. Adam stared at me, then suddenly pulled a lunchbox out from behind his back. He snorted lightly. The old man's chef made this soup, drink it. I'm off now, wife. The last word came in a deliberately low voice, full of tenderness. I rubbed my burning ears. Go on, leave already. The room fell silent again. I thought, this is bad. He's getting serious. After he left, the nurses came back out, scrunching their noses teasingly. Geez, he left but still left the whole room smelling like him. I blinked. What smell? What else could it be? They giggled and walked off, leaving me standing there feeling lost. Actually, I wanted to ask, what does Adam's pheromone smell like? 19. Grandpa's condition stabilized a lot and he could rest at home. We held a small banquet for it. Grandpa only showed his face briefly. Adam naturally handled most of the socializing. I quietly stayed in the room with Grandpa. I turned to grab a tissue. Grandpa whispered something to the housekeeper and then got sleepy, sending me downstairs. I had no choice but to obey. Downstairs, I saw Adam surrounded by a crowd. At these events, to avoid trouble, A and O types usually wore pheromone suppressants beforehand. At this moment, Adam and those around him all had theirs on. I curled my lips. So what if I'm a beta, not affected by pheromones? I should be the one wearing the crown. My heart tightened a bit, seizing a moment when no one was paying attention. I slipped back to my room to zone out. I occasionally wondered what Adam's pheromones smelled like. After a while, I heard a commotion downstairs loud enough to reach my room. Curious, I opened the door. I caught sight of someone staggering up the stairs. Behind him, several people were blocked at the stairwell. What the heck? A zombie outbreak? I hurried to close the door. Adam caught up, eyes bloodshot, kneeling on one knee at the door, breathing hard. I went over and gently poked him. What's wrong? Adam suddenly stood and grabbed my waist, pulling me close. He pressed his whole body against me, pushing me backward. A folding screen nearby toppled over, tripping us both. I covered the back of my head in pain. Only then did I realize what was happening. I hadn't seen a runaway pig before, but this was close. His susceptibility period had arrived. 20. I pushed him away. Where's your suppressant? No suppressant. Adam stumbled, hugging me tightly, burying his face in my neck, licking and nuzzling without any restraint. Wife, help me. He was searching for my glands. That thought annoyed me. Where does a beta have glands? How about I find you an omega to help? Adam ignored me completely. His whole body was burning hot, eyes red-rimmed, not getting the comfort he imagined. He went crazier. His hands dove under my clothes. His mental fire had clearly turned physical. I gritted my teeth and held his hands firmly, refusing to let go. Who wants to do anything with a delirious guy? Adam started crying in frustration, eyes shimmering with tears. Blake, wife, help me. No, other than a marriage certificate. Our relationship was ambiguous at best. How could I help him? No way. I broke free and rummaged through his bathroom for a suppressant shot, forcing it on him. I gave him the injection. Adam regained some clarity, but still held me tightly, his nose lingering at the back of my neck, his voice hoarse. He asked, why won't you help me? Why should I? You're my wife. You see everyone as your wife right now. Only Blake is my wife. I paused, nearly betraying my expression, trying to keep a straight face. I pushed him gently. Let go. You're squashing me. Adam's lips trembled, brows furrowed, usually sharp eyes now wet and pitiful. It's the belt. Alphas in heat were fragile and unreasonable. I chuckled. What belt? Wait. Some long-buried memories suddenly hit me. Wasn't there something before? I slowly realized. Flushing red. Adam laughed softly near my ear. Still so cute. Always smiling at everyone. Such a pretty smile. Except never at me. Blake. Such a cruel heart. 21. Adam's warm breath tickled my ear. My heart pounded hard. Stop with the vague talk. You got your shot. Now let go. No. What's wrong with hugging my own wife? Hugging the person I like. Who likes you? I do. I like you. Smile for me, Blake. Adam's advances were passionate and direct. The stubborn boundary I held before seemed to vanish. I tried to remind him. I'm a beta. You hate betas. Yeah, but I like you. Want to see your smile. Hate it when you smile at others. Want to see you jealous because of me. Blake, I think I'm sick. You're the doctor, please check me out. Adam clung to me, confessing clumsily. I swallowed hard, heart racing as if to stop. My brain nearly shut down. Adam pressed on, grabbing my hand and placing it on his chest. Help me, wife. Suddenly, he bit my neck, not releasing pheromones, just biting and grinding teeth. Adam almost seduced me. I can help you too. His sinful fingers brushed sensitive spots, causing shivers. Before I knew it, he pinned me on the bed, and there was no escaping. Afterward, Adam held me close, kissing my neck repeatedly. He mumbled, "Why no pheromones? If only you were an Omega." Exhausted, I weakly kicked him. "You're still thinking about Omegas." Ha! Adam caught my leg and kissed it. "Wife, my pheromone smells like bitter orange blossom." I froze. Where I couldn't smell it, the whole room smelled of bitter orange blossom, soaking me through. Epilogue. Adam still hadn't remembered that past, so he kept being bothered by the scar on my glands. "Wife, your ex didn't love you if he bit that hard." I didn't even look up, busy fixing the wooden door of my room. Adam had kicked it in a while ago. He regretted it. Every time I got angry, I'd retreat to my room. Adam couldn't catch me, so he drunkenly tore down the door instead. I asked why he was always leaving his pheromones on me. Anytime, anywhere. I was invited back to school to give a lecture, curious why nobody paid attention to my PPT, only to my marital status. Someone reminded me, the bitter orange blossom scent on me was so strong it was overwhelming. Damn it, was I really this shameless? I angrily hammered a fist on the table. Adam grabbed my hand. "Baby, that door's hurting our marriage." I glared at him, and he dared not argue. He changed the subject. "Wife, you still haven't told me, what's with that scar?" Great, he was good at changing topics, always stepping on minefields. I got up and smiled at him. "Some idiot bit me." Adam squinted, licking his lips. Suddenly, he scooped me up sideways and threw me on the bed. "Baby, why do you call him that so intimately? He bit you hard, who's tougher, him or me?" In the end, I covered the bitten scar again, angrily storming back to my room. Adam begged at the door, secretly vowing to tear down that door for good.